Welcome folks to the inside of Impulsely, and if this is your first time getting in here, no problem. We're going to get you set up very fast with this overview, okay? So you can see here when you first log in, you're going to see this as sites, and you can see I've got a bunch of different sites here below. Some of them you're not able to see because they're some of our private e-commerce stores. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys in this video exactly how to set up. You shouldn't see anything the first time. You're going to click here, you're going to basically put in the name of your site, and you're going to hit that button that says add site, okay? Once you add site, it's going to create one of these sites that you see here below. Now I'm just going to use this one Ecom Shipper app, which is one of our applications for Shopify, but I'm also going to use it as an example, basically store. We're calling them sites, but it's basically your store connections, and also because they are their own stores. Now I'm going to show you, it immediately opens me up inside of funnels. And really you can build pages from two different places. You can build pages under pages, or you can build pages under funnels. If you go to pages, this is a good place to set up TOS. If you want to create just a sell site with some parent and child nodes, you can do that here. This works really, really good for just building out websites, not necessarily building out funnels that are interconnected with products. So a little bit of a difference, but you can still do that with these. But you're not going to have that linear funnel builder that you have right here, okay? But you can see like we built a TOS, and then we have our home page, and then we're just doing some, these are different funnels right here. One's called Bling Bling that we built, one's called Ecom Shipper. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And you can see that this actually has a node, like child nodes underneath these. So a little bit different, but that's okay. We're going to show you as we dig in more. This here's your funnels, this here's your media, this here's your settings. Now, before you get into funnels and pages, you're probably going to want to make sure you set your settings up correctly. Make sure to watch the settings tutorial inside of help.impulsely.com, where you can find more information about that. But you're going to be able to go through all of these, set up general, set up your favicons, set up your logos, your domains, make sure that you get your domains set up and pointed towards our servers if you want to have your own custom domains or sub-custom domains. Your users and roles, there'll be some training on that as well. Also, if you have any content with custom CSS or JavaScript, you can pick your fonts, you can do your integrations. Currently we have Shopify, we're going to add more soon, including our own called Impulsely Stores. Then you have general defaults, all the taxes and all that stuff. So you can go through all that and make sure you set it up. Once you're set up, like with Shopify, for instance, then you'll be able to actually pull products from your Shopify store and put them directly onto your Impulsely pages. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like inside of the funnel builder. This is how you build new funnels. And also, too, I want to mention that you're going to see some more improvements in the UI, but this is currently where we're at while we're recording this. You can see these are the two different funnels I built. I'm going to do a new one. Let's just call this, bracelet, since I did a bracelet one. So now it's adding it. Give it a few minutes or a few seconds to populate here. Okay, there it is. Okay, now it's set up. Okay, now if I had any payment configurations, because you can do multiple of up to, I believe, 3, you'll be able to actually pick which one you want. You can name that. That's inside of the settings. You can also edit your checkout page from here as well. I'm going to go ahead and edit my checkout page and just show you real quickly what that's going to look like before I start building out the funnel. Now you're going to notice what's pretty cool once this loads up. You actually can edit the header and you can edit the footer of your checkout. Okay, so this is the checkout page, this is the header, this would be like the footer. And if you do, you can save the layouts and themes. So if you have some pages or you have some pre-built headers and footers already built, you can actually pull them from here. So let me see if I do have any. I'm not sure if I do. Header with logo. Let's see if I can grab this one. So yeah, I was able to grab that header with a logo, and I'm going to delete the other one. Okay, and let me see if I have any footers here. I'm not really sure if I do. Let's see. So I'm not really seeing any. I'm not sure if this is one. No, this is just a little icon. I'll use that though. Let's see. Nope, not really seeing it. And also, I'll show you something else too. I can click on here, okay, and click or double click, I'm not really sure, but I can change this and add a category and make categories for these. Sometimes it's a good idea to have categories for these. Same with themes. If I wanted to save this, say, somewhere else, oh, interesting, won't let me save. But let's say I wanted to save like this logo. I can hit this little download thing, and I can choose if I want it as a layout or a theme, name it, and then save it, okay? Not gonna do that right now. And you can do that with sections as well. You can also highlight what you want. So if I just highlighted this information, I have to drag it down a little bit, but I can do the exact same thing. I could save this as a layout, which is basically just the elements I want to, if I wanted to save them on the page itself, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and publish this and take a look. Okay, cool. So that's what it looks like. Now on the published one, you're not going to see the actual middle part, and that's fine. I'll show you guys that later. You can do any editing or anything else you want to do with this later as needed, okay? So let's go ahead and go back to, not pages, go back to the funnel, bracelet, and let's go ahead and build our first node here. And you're going to want to set this start button here, okay? Bracelet 1, let's say. And bracelet 2. We'll connect them. And that's how you build the funnel builder. And you can connect this however you want. You could have two. As soon as our split testing feature comes out, you'll have this one domain basically where you'll point to for this particular funnel, and then you could split test this all the way down and get some analytics. Now that isn't currently ready as this is being recorded. It could be up. You would see it somewhere inside of our tutorial section if it is. Okay, so let's go here and edit. Cool. Now we have basically a blank canvas to kind of roll with here. And this is where you're going to build your pages. Now, if you want to start with a blank canvas, by all means, start with a blank canvas. If you want to go through the themes, these are the current themes that we give you, unless you're part of the template library, which so often, if you are part of that, so often you will see more of these pop up, and we'll hopefully get them categorized so they'll be in different categories. So you can, double click on here and create a category, but hopefully when you see them in your page, you'll actually see them under a category by themselves, because they should be funnels, not just a template, but a funnel template, okay? So if I just grab landing page, I have no idea what this one looks like. I'm gonna put it on the top here. Okay, that's cool. That's what that looks like. This is a good one, by the way, for like a thank you page. I'm gonna go ahead and delete. And I'm gonna start with just a blank canvas, okay? But you can delete each section just like that. Okay, so now I have each section here. And also too, you can also move this back and forth depending on how you like to work. Big section on the bottom. Depending on how you like to work, typically, 3 or 4 is what you're going to want to do. I also want to mention that when you're building pages, like your header should be usually one section. The rest of your page should be just a real long, drawn out midsection, for instance, like I just did right here, depending on how big it is. And you can kind of keep dragging this out as you're building, okay? And then the next section should typically be this third section right here, okay? Sometimes too, I want to mention, sometimes too you need to do this back and forth, or grab the side of your page and do this. It'll re-render. Sometimes when you're placing elements onto your page, it'll actually re-render them to stick on the page that way. So sometimes you need to do that. It's a kind of a weird little bug, but it's not hard to work through, and eventually it'll be fixed. So hopefully when you're seeing this, it's fixed. But even if it's not, that's what you do. So I'm starting with the blank canvas, and let's say I saw a page or I saw something that I wanted to model after. I would then go ahead and start modeling after that thing, okay? But first, everything is going to be based off these elements that you see on the left here. You see buttons, countdown timers, heading, horizontal lines, HTML blocks, images, image, product, rectangle, rich text, sections, vertical line, and video. These are all of our main elements. You're going to see some more. There's one under layout you should see called opt-in form. This is actually being rebuilt currently, so it may or may not be available, and even if it is, you may want to wait till we announce that. Also too, just looking at all of this stuff, looks like everything else is here, okay? So if I wanted to add a countdown timer up here, I could. Okay, so there you go. This is the countdown timer. You'll click on that element. See how it got a red line around there? And now you can actually see the different display types of rectangle and circle. And if you want it to go to a URL when it basically hits 0, you can do that. You can do exact time, or you can do evergreen. Evergreen is basically, it's going to be somewhat cookied. So if someone goes to a site for the first time, it's going to basically remember them when they hit there, and that's going to be the countdown timer itself. Typically, you're going to do like minutes or something like that. So I just did 8 minutes, as you can see. You can also do, if you do exact, then you're going to fill that out. You can do colors. You can do fonts. We are also working on this element to make it even better. So right now it's still a little bit, this element itself is a little bit in beta. It gets finicky when you start playing with the sizes. So what I would best suggest is that you just keep it the current size it is, unless you do want to mess with it. And the way that you would do that is you try to size it from all different sizes and see which way is going to work the best. I do also want to mention that currently on this element as well, sometimes you have to drag it into the main block or the main section before you roll it up to the top header if you wanted it in the header itself. But other than that, it works really good. I can change some colors here. Border white, border black, border width bigger. So see how you can see the widths counting down with the countdown timer. So really cool looking, I think, with the stuff that you can do with it. Other than that, that's how you would put it on here. If you want to delete it, just hit delete, and now it's gone. Okay. So let's check out some of the other things we can do here. These are going to be like buttons, countdown timers, horizontal lines. These are the horizontal lines. Just a simple line. Sometimes this looks nice, in the middle of a page if you wanted to have it, okay? Just depends on how you want it to look. So yes. Heading, it should be a heading text. It's not the rich text. This is usually the bigger text that you're going to use. And you would basically highlight and be able to change anything that you wanted to change in here. If you want to center it, bold it, italicize it, use a different font family, use a different font size, just however you want, okay? And then you would place it into the screen wherever you wanted, and that's where it's going to be rendered at that moment. I can go here and grab rich text, which is right here. Usually this is like a description of something, okay? You can hit edit, or you can actually double click in here and start writing, okay? Use a different header font, use font sizes, bold, center, align to the left. You have many options you can use for that. And then just put it where you want. And you can see there's this little guider in the middle that tells you that that's center based off the size of this. So if I wanted to make it the actual size right here, it's going to change it a little bit, right? The center on the side, center on this side, it should. It's saying right there and right there. So simple stuff there. Let's say I want to grab a logo image. I'm going to grab image. Now you can double click here or you can hit edit here. And this is your media library. So all of your media that you're going to upload and build categories. You'll either make a new category or you're going to upload to a particular category. Now for this site, I already have logos inside here, so I'm going to select this media right there. Now I also want to show you something else. I can double click on here, I can click on this media, and I can hit edit. What this is going to do is it's going to open up Adobe Max, I think, or photo editor, and you can do different things. Typically what I do is I just use this for cropping. So if I had something that had a big huge edge that was not showing but it was transparent but it still affected my editing of the page, I could actually crop it and do it from there. Now you can do some other things that are available here if you choose. Okay. And you can click out if you just want to delete, not delete, but just leave. So now that's my image. The other thing I want to mention with text, you can also hyperlink it. So if I wanted to use this for navigation, for instance, I could call it, home, and then I could hyperlink this home page. Okay. Open a new tab or not and hit insert. You can also do code view if you know code, or you can clear formatting as well. Sometimes if you're cut and pasting text from one place to another, you might want to clear the format because some formats have hidden code and could affect speed of your site, a lot of stuff like that. Okay, so if you know the code, you can do that. This is also helpful for colors. As you can see, we don't have our color droplet up here, which should be soon. You'll probably see it as soon as you see this video. But you'll also have an option to change colors or highlight the part you want and change colors as well. Now let's look at another element that is very useful for just what I just explained, and that's the buttons. If you wanted to, instead of hyperlinking, what we do and what we teach is usually just use a button. You can see how I just did that and it cleared it, but I can go here and I can edit all of these different things that are available here. I can change the padding of the text of where it's located. I can bold it. I can change the wording right here. So if this was home, then that would be home now. I can change the link. So same window. Here's the interesting thing here. I can link to a page. So if I have any other page inside of the system or that site or even that store site, I can change where I want that to go internally. So I don't need to use an external URL. I can just go internally. If I want to do an external URL, I'd click it here. If I wanted to use it as an upload or a download of a file, I could use that right here. Or I can have it open in the same window or a different window. Background, I can use images or colors. Border, same thing. So for border width, I could just get rid of it. And now you see no width right there. What will happen though is when people, when people actually hover over it, I think it turns like gray or something like that. So people know that they're actually about to press that button. Okay, so you can see the button's white because this background has no color. And then there's a heading, but you see how it changes color when I'm hovering over it? That's exactly what we're doing right here. And also I may want to align this more with the actual logo part itself. Now once you're happy with this, actually let me show you this. This section right here, by the way, you have content and you have background. So you have background color. If I wanted to make it white, it's going to hit white on everything. If I wanted to, let's see, if I wanted to keep it here and go to content and go to white, I can save it like that. Okay, let's take a look of what that looks like. Go to that page, refresh it. Okay, see how it's all white? And see when I'm hovering over it now, it changes color. That's kind of what you're going to want to do with that. So one thing I noticed though was this turned white. So I want to go back to that color, and this should be white. Cool. So let me publish that and take a look. Now on this, it should be this translucent, or this kind of like clear color, and then this will be the white when it renders. Okay, so now you can see the sides are transcendent. I don't even know what that is, but you basically looks like this, and then this is the white color. Okay, and then if I'm scrolling over any of these what would be called buttons, they're going to look like that, so I know I'm clicking it. Okay, and see how it even changes my mouse when I go to hover over that. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea. Now, the next thing that you can do with any of these elements is you can duplicate it. So like, let's say I was happy with this button. I could click this button right here, and now I'm basically taking that same button element and I've just duplicated it. And if I wanted to highlight them and move them somewhere, if I didn't like where it was at or the way it looked, I can just do that right here. I can highlight them both and do it like that, and then click off. And then basically I'm going to just set up the URL or the page that this particularly would go to. When building funnels, you may want to add more pages, or if you're connected to a store, you may want to say shop store and have a button, or you're going to have this in your footer with like your terms of services and your privacy policy and your store URLs or your apparel URLs going directly to collections on your stores. A lot of different uses that you would have for that. Okay. Hopefully you're getting that so far. Best thing to do is just get your hands dirty as you continue to go through here. Now I also want to show you the product. Let's see, the product page. Okay, I'm going to go into here. It's going to open up. It's going to look like this. If you're not currently connected to a store, it's going to ask you to connect to one of your integrations, which was in the settings side. I've already connected this, so you're not seeing it. Now, I've clicked on here, and currently it says product is empty, so we don't see this. Now, these are all presets where I can change how I want these to look. Okay, inside of here with their description. So they have like select product, product options, and pricing. Those are all the things that we pull directly from your store or your integration. So now you can see I just clicked on empty, click to select. You can basically select based off of collections. Now this is just a test site, so we have a lot of stuff in here, but you're not going to see, you're not going to see. Now the best thing to do is go to your store and grab the title and then put it in here. Okay. So I'm just going to grab this awesome shark Santa sweater, and if I click on it inside of here, you can now use and play with these options, and you can make them bigger by scrolling to the size to up to their full size. And then also if there's any thumbnails, you can click on here and add the thumbnails, and that's how you'd put those in here. Okay, you can change the thumbnail sizes and the margins between the two. You can play with this if you know it. I would stick with just the way it's set up with absolute, not fixed or any relative settings. You can stick with, keep these the same. Don't mess with any of these. You don't need any events. Those are custom triggers. You don't have to worry about those. This is going to be your header. You can actually control header pixel sizes right here. Okay, and you can move it around. This right here is the description, and you can play with sizes with that as well. This is your pricing block. This is your buy now button, basically. If there was options, this one here would actually pop up, but because there's no options, this is just a, again, it's just a test site. That didn't pop up, but you still have this. It's still in here. If I want to change anything on here, just like the buttons, I can change them. I can resize them. If I want to have the no thank you button, I can do that, or I can go here and go to make this invisible, so now it doesn't show, or make it visible. Like I said, sometimes you have to re-render the sizing up here to make it come back. Now I do want to mention that when you build this, it's going to do its best to be set for mobile. But remember, as you're building this, you're going to want to set for mobile. You want to have things set up for mobile. So you can see it's not really actually set very well for mobile. So you'll go through and you'll basically put these at wherever wherever you feel that they may need to be set. So I'm just going to reset these up here to my likings. But the cool thing about this is your site is going to be mobile optimized, which a high percent of your traffic is going to come from mobile. So it's pretty important to make sure your site is mobile optimized. Okay. Okay. So now that part is mobile optimized. Before I say that, there's actually a couple things. You can also take your navigation that I made with just buttons. Super simple to do. I can look at them to see how close I want to put them together. I like that. Everything seems center. Now I can go ahead and publish. Okay, now that that's published, I can also check to see what it looks like on mobile. Boom. So that was mobile, and it looks good. I mean, I probably need to change this text. It looks like it's not. It looks like it's hanging over the lip a little bit. And it is. Cool. All right, so now I'd hit publish and hit publish, and that should be good. Okay, now I'm going to go back to here. Now those values are set, for mobile. And these values are set for desktop. And now I can I can also add sections if I needed to. Now, like I said, keep this middle section big unless you're doing, unless you want to have backgrounds that, are a little bit different for each section. But for the most part, keep them all like this, because you're going to find that it's much easier to edit inside a mobile when you do that. Okay, so just save yourself some time from learning that. That's pretty much about it. I mean, the video, if you hit video and put it in here, we kind of set you up with a video already. And once you click on it, you'll see here's where you put the URL. We currently support Vimeo and YouTube. So you can put Vimeo, you'll just put your Vimeo URL in here, and make sure that if you have it on private, that you are able to work it with whatever your site.impulselyApp.com or your custom domain. Okay, and you really don't need to mess with too much on here. You're just going to need to size it for your size. Okay. And there you go. You know, this actually looks like it's a little bit bigger. That way it looks like. Sometimes you can do it this way too, right? Same with video. It's just harder to render on our page, but once you do that, it should be fine. Okay. And there you go. So there's the video. Hit play. And there's the video playing. There's some other things I think you can do here, like autoplay. That's going to work on most browsers. I do know that recently Google had an update where they're not allowing it, so we'll try to figure out a way to make that work in the future, but that's how that is. Other than that, pretty simple to use, just pretty much drag and drop, you know, play with the themes, play with the layouts. Like I said, this UI will improve over time. You know, we're also adding a few more cool elements that you'll see over time. But I hope you guys enjoy this. And oh yeah, also let me look at something real quick. Let's just go to the Buy Now button. And there you go. It's actually, there you go. So there you go. There's the product you have, and here's where your the person's going to fill out their shipping information, and then they're going to continue to buy. And then after they purchase, it's going to go to wherever that next spot was. There is some training on that in the inside the help section as well. So make sure you guys go there. If you have any questions, just let us know in support, and I appreciate your time, and we'll see you guys on the next one.